Last episode, we had a jam-packed week of transfers, and I'm here to tell you, I did something I shouldn't have. I bought another right winger. Yeah, I know, another right winger. You know, that position I said we didn't need any more of. A good player came up. I had to buy them. At least he is listed as our key player. Here is Hiroshi Watanabe. Now, he was a player on my radar, but he didn't want to talk to me earlier on in pre-season, but he was getting more and more unhappy at Nihon University. I've signed him for £35,000. And I know what you're thinking, Jack, how can you afford that? I'm paying them, I think it's £5,000 now and £30,000 over the next 3 years. I really want to try and justify this signing by saying he's really good, but if we don't get promoted this year, I am up a crappy creek without a paddle. Also, we're now over the wage budget. So, it feels like a really terrible idea. But you know what? It's too late now. I've done it. And if you're wondering, Jack, why has he got a slight concern? I triggered a contract extension. So he's here for 2 years. You know, I offered him the optional extension, triggered it immediately. He didn't like that. Tough. Now, we have made one other transfer since last episode, which I'll cover shortly. But before that, we're going to run the intro. Today, we have Nanatsu in the Tokyo Cup. A chance to prove ourselves against one of our big, ferocious rivals, the team predicted to win our league. This game against them to open up the season is in the Cup. Doesn't mean it's not a chance to get a mental edge over them. And then after that, we are going to return for the first game of the Kanto Soccer League season. Of course, the league we need to win, where we are taking on Joyful Honda at home. And with that game, we are also going to do the first away home day of the Edagawa Athletic Stadium. We're going to go see what our ground looks like today. Let's hope Season 2 is going to start with a bang. Run the intro editing, Jack. Let's get into it. I hope you guys are having a lovely Friday. Hopefully you're excited for the start of Season 2 here with Tokyo 23. Last year was exciting. The summer transfer window is action-packed. Watanabe is here as a bit of a gamble. In my defence, to try and justify this signing just a little bit, Hasegawa, the right winger that we signed last episode, has got injured for the first, month of the season. So I'm going to use that as some kind of justification that Watanabe is a good signing. To be fair, he's a bloody great signing on paper, you know, minus the whole financial element of the transfer deal. Not that that's ever important, of course. He is undeniably, Watanabe, a massive upgrade for us. Now, I did do two more little bits of transfer business since last episode. The first was to loan out Moriyama. You might remember Moriyama as a player who was a decent backup player for us last year. The 21-year-old played 17 games, didn't shine particularly bright, and at 21 years old, with only a year left on his contract, I don't think he's going to make a mark for us. I decided to loan him out based on this signing here. Tsuyuki is joining us. Yoshimi, 17 years old, injury-prone. Let's ignore that. Ignore the inconsistency too. What he is a very exciting centre-mid option from a high school, and I just kind of like the look of him. When you compare him with Moriyama, he's definitely an upgrade. Not perhaps as good mentally or defensively, but in terms of a creative force of a centre midfielder, we can bring in Tsuyuki. I think has the potential to be great and a bit of a match winner, provided, of course, he does stay fit. Now, since last episode, pre-season has been in full swing. We've been playing in the Tokyo Cup, which is a bit of a weird competition. It's not one that's particularly important to our board, but in terms of, for pre-season, it's a good chance to build up some fitness. Given the fact we're taking on Nanatsu today, I felt like this was a good game to do. Firstly, because, of course, they are listed as one of our big, fierce rivals. A competitive rivalry against them exists. And on top of that, when it comes to the Kanto Soccer League, they are the team predicted to finish top. Last year, I believe they finished 4 or 6 points behind us. They were certainly breathing down our necks. Interested to see how we fare against them in this game in the Tokyo Cup. Maybe a good chance to see, have we made steps forward from last year? Can we compete with them on the pitch? I think it is going to be a bit of a challenge, but you can see here, the media now have us down as 4th favourites in the Kanto Soccer League. So I feel like that's a pretty good reflection of the team. And elsewhere, you may have noticed under key players, Watanabe, the new arrival, is now the 5th player down on this list. Yeah, we are big time now. Anyway, we're going to get straight into things today and see how we fare against Nanatsu. This game is a week before our league game. Interesting to note, in the Tokyo Cup, we are in the 4th round here against Nanatsu. The quarterfinals have already been drawn with university teams playing it, and then the semi-finals, I believe, have been drawn with more teams in it here. I assume this is some kind of seeding thing. There is a chance that if we can make it a little bit further, we get to play against potentially a J3 or JFL club. That could be kind of interesting. So I would quite like to beat Nanatsu today. Now, I already mentioned the injury to Hasegawa. He is the one player who would probably be on the bench for today's game unavailable. Besides that, players have stayed mostly fit through pre-season. Watanabe is lacking a little bit of match sharpness, but given the fact that we're paying him the big bucks and he's like £35,000 worth of player, of course he has to play in this game today. In terms of the rest of the starting 11, it's going to be Otsuka alongside Otter. Otsuka, by the way, in the Tokyo Cup has got 4 goals already. Of course, the 20-year-old signed this summer to play alongside Yuichi Otter as 2 decent little striking options for us. In the midfield, you probably already spotted it, Sawa and Ida are going to hold down their spots. Watanabe, of course, is out on the right. Nakajima, our new left midfielder, is out on the left-hand side. Just to kind of compare him with Watanabe out on the right-hand side of midfield, you can see he is a little bit of a step down as a player, but undeniably, in the wide midfield area now, we have 2 really good players who are both reasonably good at set pieces for this level. In terms of the defence, there's not as many changes here. Of course, we have got our new goalkeeper in Matsuzawa, who I really like the look of. Interested to see how he gets on. If he doesn't step up, like his attributes suggest he should, of course, Ataki is a man we could bring in to play in the goalkeeping position. And in at centre-back, we were hunting for a centre-back all year. Sugawara is the man that we landed on as of last episode. The 19-year-old looks like a really, really good centre-back option to play alongside Kim. Of course, Mitsuhashi and Aoki are right-back and left-back. We did sign Kobayashi last episode, who's a decent full-back option. On paper, potentially better than our left back and right back, and he can play either side, but when I did play him in some early cup games, as you can see here, he got a 6.83 rating in the Tokyo Cup. And with that in mind, decided to drop him to the bench today. So in terms of our starting 11 for today's game, 6 of the players in it were featuring towards the end of last year in our squad, which feels like kind of a high turnover in players. I did actually go back and look at Tokyo 23's off-season between 2023 and 2024. They retained the contracts of 6 players. They got rid of, I think, the vast majority of the squad. In fact, of course, they did. They kept 6 players. So high turnover at this level is to be expected. I feel like we've kept the best pieces of last year. Nanatsu didn't cause us a load of problems last season, but what I would say is, on paper, they are still a very, very strong squad. And also, I say they didn't cause us any problems. They did beat us in a league game, but they were always a little bit behind us playing catch-up, which I think made the end-of-season running that little bit less stressful. And I feel like from a psychological point of view, getting a win here could be big, as Watanabe, the man who I've gambled on really this year, is going to try and make something happen. He puts it in. Otter is fouled. We have a chance from the penalty spot here, with Otter stepping up to score it. 20 minutes in. What a time it'd be to score his first live commentary goal of the year against Nanatsu. And I'll tell you what, that's a bloody confident penalty, isn't it? Up until this game here, I have been treating the Tokyo Cup as just a bit of a pre-season tournament. I mean, that is essentially what it is for teams down at our level. As some of the better teams arrive at later stages, the challenge is going to ramp up. But I did feel like for this game here, it was the first game that I came to and went, that's not a pre-season friendly anymore. I really want to win that one. So far, we're doing the business. What I will say is we've had 1 shot. It was from a penalty. They've had 4 shots, and in fact, they've got now a set piece here. Cho Dong-jae is going to step up and lay it short. They've got a fair few South Korean and North Korean players in their ranks, including, well, the assister there, Koga, heads it in for them, makes it 1-1 from a corner. Last year, one of our big strengths was defending set pieces and scoring set pieces. So to see us get undone like that is a tiny bit disappointing. Little glancing header. Matsuzawa not going to keep a clean sheet on his live commentary debut. Okay, it's half-time here. It's not exactly been a classic. We had 1 real chance of note and then 1 shot slightly later on. After they scored, they didn't create a great deal either. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from happy. I suppose the nice thing with our squad this year is that we do have a little bit more depth, I feel like. And you know what? I'm going to make a change early here. Otsuka's not at the best of games. Akai is another new arrival at the team. This guy is absolutely bloody massive. We talked about 190 centimetres of Japanese beef last year. We've now got 197 centimetres on it. That, you know what, that 7 centimetres is going to make a bloody massive difference. And I do feel like actually when it comes to Akai, I will be mostly deploying him as a target forward. With our kind of counter-attacking style of play, I think he could fit in really nicely for us. Elsewhere in the team, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but Nakajima, on a booking, not playing well. You know what, Matsumoto, on you come. Let's bring in the old guard. If there's a man to score a magical goal, it's this bloke. Okay, they've got a free kick. They've hit the free kick. Matsuzawa, first save I think we've seen him make in Tokyo 23 colours. I say Tokyo 23 colours. He's playing in green. We don't play in green, but that is the goalkeeper kit. So does it count as Tokyo 23 colours. I'm going to allow it. Was that a foul? Was that a penalty? It looked like one. It's not been given. Everything's fine. Saying that, immediately the throw-in that the ball just went out to is now going to result in potentially something as Matsuzawa plucks it out the air again. I do wonder this year if teams are now going to be aware of our counter-attacking style of play. Last year we were a big underdog. Of course, the board expectation was to avoid relegation. This year now it's mid-table, and based on last year's campaign, I have to question, are teams going to be as attacking and as vulnerable to the counter-attack as they were last year, or are they just going to be able to attack us, dispatch of us, like Nanatsu out here? Koga scored another. I mean, this is the toughest game that we're going to have to play in our league season upcoming, and this isn't the cup, crucially, so maybe I don't need to overreact and panic just yet, but I feel like this is a pretty good indicator in the gulf of class between ourselves and Nanatsu. They've got very good players. Here is Koga, by the way, their centre attacking mid. He is a very decent little player, isn't he? I feel like now I should compare him with Ida, who's kind of our creative player. I'll tell you what, when you compare him like that, Ida has actually got an edge in certain areas. I mean, overall, maybe Koga's slightly better. I feel like this polygon's deceptive. I mean, Ida's not scored 2, so I'm going to say it. Koga's better. Also, he's only got £130 a week. They really are mugging me off. I was curious about their better players. Cho Dong-jae here is the left mid that we've seen kind of pulling our pants down. He's very, very good. He's on £1,200 a week. I can't pay players that much. It's not fair. My understanding with the database setup is that Nanatsu, if they don't get promoted in the first few years, they will eventually start to struggle financially. It's fairly common at this level of Japan for teams to invest big to try and shoot for JFL football, and if they fail, just kind of, slump down a little bit. We basically need to hope that isn't going to happen to us, and maybe that it happens to Nanatsu. Of course, I'm kind of gambling big with signings like Watanabe this year. A Watanabe, by the way, who's looking nervous. I'm going to take him off. He's been absolutely poo-poo today. I'm going to give Tsuki a game here just to see what the 17-year-old can do. I want to give him some game time, get him some match fitness. Ida's not been good either. Truthfully, our defence, I think, has been where a lot of the problems are. I'm going to make my 5th and final change, bringing in Kobayashi, and that is us done now. 15 minutes left in this game. I'm going to go to attacking, I think, just to try and make something happen. Really, at this point, also, probably need to start pressing a little bit more, don't we? Okay, changing game plan for the last 5 minutes. I didn't ever last year set up a plan B more attacking system. I discussed the fact it might be necessary as Kobayashi's free kick whistles wide. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that I do actually need to do that. We've made some changes here, and we are actually now maybe taking the game to them. Kobayashi, fresh off the bench. He had that free kick that went wide. They are going to clear this away as far as Aoki. Plenty of players in the box to aim for. I don't know about anyone else. I'm looking for Akai. Akai's massive. Fukumoto was there too. He's pretty good in the air. On that occasion, didn't really show it, and sadly, yes, it's not a league game, but it's still bloody disappointing. We are going to lose out here to Nanatsu. Silver lining, we injured Koga. So, swings and roundabouts. I mean, ultimately, we went into the game as big underdogs, but against our rivals, we fancy ourselves to win, especially at home. Sadly, we could not deal with them. They created not a ton, in all honesty, but we just didn't do enough to win the game either. Does mean, sadly, we don't get a chance to prove ourselves against either the university teams or the teams that play in professional Japanese football that enter at the latter stages, but we were the last of 2 non-league Japanese teams in Tokyo to make it into the competition. I'm going to try and look at that as a positive. We do need to dust ourselves down, though, because the league season starts in a week. That first game we have is against Joyful Honda. Their media prediction for the year is 9th. We should be absolutely spanking them. I'm going to hope that Watanabe turns up and does better. Also, probably should register him, shouldn't I? Need to rest up players too. Fair bit to sort before the season starts. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back very shortly. So we did have our youth intake ahead of the first game of the year. I wasn't sure when it was going to arrive, our intake. It is our first one, and if you're wondering, Jack was any good? No, absolutely not. Akira Oikawa, probably the best of the bunch player-wise, 15 years old. I'm actually training him to play left back, which I feel like is probably an indicator of how good he is. Yeah, he's not great. Could be worse, I guess. I mean, it could be worse. Look at the other players I got. Uemura here is our best player in terms of potential. This is what we could have got. Yeah, until our youth recruitment improves beyond the half a star or 1 grey star, probably not even worth talking about the intakes that arrive. Now, I wanted to do this last season, but it just never came at a particularly good time. Today, we are going to go and see what our stadium is all about, the Addons Athletic Stadium. People know with away days, I hate running tracks. So the fact I'm managing a team that has a running track, it's very conflicting to me. I'm hoping the away day is going to make it up in other ways. Let's go see what this stadium in Tokyo has got to offer, shall we? So for today's away day, or home day, I guess, we are heading into the heart of Tokyo. If people didn't realise, by the way, why Tokyo 23 is called Tokyo 23, it's because Tokyo's got 23 prefectures in. That's also why there's 23 stars on it. It's like the American flag, but it's a football team. Anyway, we are heading over here to the Spurs Doriku Field. I hope I've said that correctly. Here is our stadium. Yes, we are right next to the, the river and the sea. Yeah, we can literally go to the beach, maybe, on our away day. I have no idea if Tokyo actually has beaches. We'll find out now. Here is our stadium in all its glory. I'll be honest, the area around it doesn't look the most inspiring. There is a singular tennis court, what I think is maybe a hockey field. Maybe? I actually have no idea. What sport could this be? Answers on a postcard. There's a hospital next door, so if players get injured, that's a positive. And we've also got golf next door. Well, it's a driving range. It looks like Top Golf, but the Japanese version. Looks quite fun. And to answer the question, is there a beach? I mean, technically, I feel like this probably isn't in the vicinity of the away day, and you do have to swim across to get to the sandy bit. Or you could take the bridge. There is a beach next door, though. I'm beginning to realise that with this away day, come on a boat. You know, if you've got, this could be the Monaco of football stadiums. Everyone can watch the game from the yachts to the side or something. Right, shall we have a look at street view options? Okay, concerning here, there are 2 dots to the south of the stadium, but we can go on the road around and inspect the car park. That's right, we have a car park here. I think this is the car park here. There is our stadium through those bushes. Please actually pay when you turn up to watch our games. Don't watch through the gaps. Okay, javelin, high jump, shot, hammer throw. Is this just long jump and then sprinting? I mean, I have to say from the outside, it feels quite leafy and cozy, doesn't it? And there, by the way, there's the tennis court, the world famous singular tennis court. So this is the entrance to the car park down here. Here is the entrance to our stadium where it appears they've got children caged inside. It definitely feels more like an athletics track with a football pitch in the middle as opposed to a football pitch with an athletics track round the edge. Let's go for a tour round the outside here where, I don't know about anyone else, it just feels very cozy. You got pink houses, blue houses, yellow houses. I bet there's a bear in the middle one. That's a reference that I hope at least one person got. I'm kind of scouting the perimeter here, but I'm beginning to realise Japan really like to cage in their football stadiums, don't they, on away days? Before I resort to Google Earth, there was a dot to the south of the stadium. I think there was a second one as well that wasn't shown there. Here is one of the dots. Okay, you know what? I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. There is a second dot. What have you got for me? It's just... It's slightly further down, isn't it? It's the same picture. I'm wondering now, based on memory, if I can actually pick out the exact location of the stadium. Should we see how good my geographical knowledge is? Okay, it was near here. Here's the goal. Oh my, this is a bit sad, isn't it? I'd be well good at GeoGuessr. I believe it's actually affectionately called just the Edoriku. That's what the fans call it. Here is the ground in all its glory. Here is the grandstand. And yeah, it really is just an athletics track, isn't it, with a pitch in the middle. I'll be honest, the colour of the grass as well, it's not the most enticing, and it's got a load of lines for other sports on it as well. It's really committing a lot of the cardinal sins of an away day. I'm beginning to think more and more that Google Earth is just going to be the best way to do these away days, isn't it? You know, everything's in 3D in Japan. It's all technologically advanced and stuff. There's the car park we were looking at earlier. Plenty of parking for a team of our level, it has to be said. I do want to quickly check. I know this is a bit of a side quest. Is the beach any good? Does this count as a beach? I can't see many people chilling at the beach, which I feel like that might be a reflection of, well, where we're at. It looks nice. Also, there's a canoe slalom centre next door. I'm going to use the term next door kind of loosely. We had a theme park a few away days ago. Now we've got a canoe slalom centre. We really are pushing the boundaries of away days here, aren't we? Also, there's a bloody Ferris wheel. Does Japan just have Ferris wheels everywhere? I will admit, it's probably a bit too far away from the ground to count as part of the away day. But there's a junior high school here with a swimming pool on the roof. Is this a thing in Japan as well? Swimming pools on the roof? mental country. I think I love it. Now, I do have to be fair here. As far as away days go, it's the lack of footage on the inside is going to hold it back. But Canoe Slalom Centre, there was actually parking as well. I was informed I would not see parking in Japanese away days. Our stadium has proven it wrong. I've proven that I picked the right football club for me. In terms of the rest of the stadium, it's kind of difficult to give it a good score, isn't it, even with a running track? But because I'm going to be generous, and definitely because I'm not unbiased, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 because they had a Canoe Slalom Centre, like half a mile away. That counts for the away day. Today I've decided. Unbiased. Get over it. Anyway, with that all said and done, we're going to hop into the opening game of the year. Yeah, this is still a Football Manager video, by the way. In terms of the team for today's game, it is going to be unchanged from last episode. Kobayashi, who I maybe would be considering for a starting 11 spot, the left back and right back option, sadly is suspended in the league to start the year, so he can't play in this game here. Not that he would have started anyway. I'm looking at Watanabe thinking, mate, I've spent £35,000 on you. I really need to start seeing some magic. Maybe alongside Nakajima at left mid, they're going to show why I've brought them in this year to be two big impact players. Otsuka as well really needs to step up today. In training, the 20-year-old's been doing absolutely amazingly. I got high hopes for him. He let me down last game. Now, this is a game last season I think we would have gone into as underdogs, but with us now as the favourites at home, it's going to be a bit of a test to see how does the counter-attacking kind of sitting deep style of play work. Can it still work against Joyful Bloody Honda? Let's find out. Also, I know I mentioned it last year, Joyful Honda, it's just a fantastic name for a football team, isn't it? Let's hope, though, that we're going to be the team Joyful at the end of this. Nakajima, I threw you under the bus pre-game. I said you need to step up. He's played it towards Watanabe, and that's been handballed. Do the players at this level not know what they're doing? Kamuro has handballed it. Otto now has a chance on the spot. He scored a penalty earlier. And then the one that he needs to score, the one that actually matters, that isn't a cup game, he bloody misses. It's parried out. I mean, we still have a corner, but I really hope that is not an omen for the start of this season. Aoki has headed it over. That was meant to be to the tune of Hokey Pokey, but it wasn't, was it? I mean, since Otto missed his penalty, we've had created chances. We've not created nearly enough, though. We need to be doing more. This is the kind of game against a team predicted to finish 9th. Well, we should just be ahead. We should be getting our noses ahead early and having a nice, relaxing game. It's not how it's played out yet, but you know what? Maybe there is a goal coming. Sour, Ida. Otto looks to go wide. Can, though, reads it for them. And Joyful Honda, they've not created anything, but the longer this game goes on without a scoring, the more I fear a counter-attack. Otto with the ball, lays inside to Nakajima. Iwata for them, wins the ball nicely. Aoki gonna mop up the pieces. The left back gets it down the line to Jin. What can he do? He crosses it. Ida, not known for his aerial ability there, loses that battle. They get the ball forward, but Shirogawara breaks it down nicely. This is a bloody long highlight. Ida, Otter, please don't let me down. He puts it into the box for Otsuka. The two strikers link up, and we have that goal we crave. Took a little longer than I wanted it to take for that goal to happen, but we have got the breakthrough. Ida with an absolutely fantastic defence splitting pass. That cross in on a plate for Otsuka, who nodded it in confidently. Watanabe, right foot wizard, maybe. Whips it in. I'll tell you, maybe he is the right foot wizard. Maybe that's his nickname. Kim has scored a header. It's 2 goals in 2 minutes. Let's relax now. I mean, he's got to do more than assist corners to be justifying the £35,000 price tag. But Watanabe, what a ball that is by him there. That was beautiful. I will say, despite the fact he got that assist there, he is still on a 6.8 rating and has got a booking. It's still not a great day at the office for him just yet. We've looked good defensively in this game in terms of limiting their chances, but maybe a rare chance for them here, although Watanabe, he's broken it down nicely. We launched the ball towards Otter, who is just, he's never going to win the ball in the air there. That's a silly ball. He can win the ball when it's down at his feet, though. He's done that and given it to Sauer. Otsuka, Ida, another pass by Ida that's sensational. It's offside so annoyingly. That pass by Ida was absolutely sensational. That's why he is our advanced playmaker. He might only be here to the end of the year. I hope he's going to extend his contract, because his passes like that, they make me feel things. At the break, it's 2-0 here. Not amazing, Not off. They've not had a shot. So you know what? It's pretty bloody good, isn't it? I know they're predicted to finish 9th, but if you can deny a team having a shot on goal, I feel like you're doing kind of well. Otsuka's confused because I was a bit critical. Now he's unsure. I've just made him sad. To be fair to Watanabe, I'm throwing him under the bus a lot. He has arrived late to the team, right at the end of pre-season. Doesn't have full match sharpness yet. He's still learning a tactical system. Still gelling with the team as well. I feel like I'm being a bit critical on him, but yeah, I am going to need him to kick in and contribute. If not now, at the tail end of the year, where it really matters. He's going to whip the ball in here. Otsuka's that he's got an assist. Yeah, I apologise to Watanabe. I didn't know his game. Otsuka, he might have been sad at halftime. I bet he's got a big old smile on his face now. 6 minutes into this half, he's bagged himself another. It's his second of the game. The number 10's on for the hat-trick. At this point, I'm going to make some changes just to keep players happy. Akai, you are going to come on and I'm going to try him out as an advanced forward. Elsewhere, Fukumoto can come on for Watanabe, who has had a good game to be fair, but just given his match sharpness, given how this game's looking, don't feel like we have to keep him on the pitch. Anishi, who's in on loan from our new affiliates, I'm going to play at left back as well. And you know what? Let's just make another change for the sake of it. Nakajima off, Matsumoto on you come. I feel guilty having Matsumoto on the bench. I kind of feel like I owe it to the older man to, you know, play him as often as possible. He's one of the old guard. He's been here since the beginning. Didn't ever really put a foot wrong last year. Just a victim of the fact that I'm addicted to wingers, apparently. But, well, he might have a chance here to show us what he's all about. Sowers won it nicely there, by the way. Fukumoto to Akai, who's looking for his first goal in our colours. He shoots. He's got it. That, say our first, in the league. He scored in the Tokyo Cup against some non-league teams. Don't count those. That goal there, I feel like shouldn't count either. Their goalkeeper did not try, did he? I mean, if we're being honest, did the goalkeeper just give up here? I know they're down 3-0, but this effort here by Mizuno, that is tragic, isn't it? That's poor. If that was my goalkeeper, there's death threats in the comments towards him. 20 minutes left here. I still really want to keep a clean sheet at this point, just stat-wise. They've not yet had a shot. I mean, if we could stop them having a shot, would that make it like a golden clean sheet? Is there a phrase for when you stop a team even having a shot? I feel like there should be. I'm inventing it now. We'll call it the platinum clean sheet. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? Can we get it today? No, they've ruined it. They've had a shot. We've got maybe another chance here. Otsuka wants more. Asuka wants blood. Here he is on the left-hand side. If he wants to get his hat-trick, he's got to do a lot from here, although he's just going to whip it in. Akai was there. Akai's so tall in the match engine, he doesn't even need to jump for that. It just lands on his head and he's still taller than the other players. Ida shoots. Wasteful. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this game. Please, Football Manager, let me have a clean sheet to start the league season. Please. I really would like the clean sheet. You know, I'm just going to ask nicely. And I'm not going to get it. Kazaki scores for them. Doesn't even mean anything, does it, in the grand scheme of the game? Bit sad we couldn't end this one with a clean sheet, but nevertheless, a really, really good performance. We created a lot defensively. For most of the game, we looked really solid, despite the fact we missed that penalty early on. We didn't let that affect us mentally. And Otsuka, man of the match in this game, 9.5 rating on his league game debut. He didn't score in the University League last year for his previous club. He's now scored 2 goals in his opening game here. Sadly for us, the teams that I really don't want to win this year did win. Nankatsu and Tokyo United are 2 of the better teams in the division. They're going to be up there towards the start of the year, potentially towards the end of the year as well. They've both won their opening matches. Otsuka, you beautiful man. We will give him some praise. I mean, let's look at the positives. We are top of the league, albeit whilst we're very familiar with the league that we're in now, we know it's a long and difficult season, isn't it? In terms of when we're going to be back next time, I think I have to come back for the game against Nankatsu. Based on the fact they beat us in the Cup, I feel like that's going to be one of our more challenging games. We also have Tokyo United away in May. It may be that I come back and do those 2 games and then ignore Hitachi Bully Systems in the middle, because with respect to them, they literally play in a blurry pixelated park. Their media prediction is 8th, and I feel like those 2 away games against Tokyo United and Nankatsu, probably the 2 hardest league games of the entire year. That is, of course, until, well, the next league stage with the last 12 teams. No guarantees we're going to get there this year. We got there last year. I want to believe we can do it again. If you made it to the end of the video and you want to prove to me you made it to the end of the video, go down below. Let me know where you think we're going to end up this year. Will we be able to make it to the later stages? Are we going to fall short against maybe Tokyo United or Nankatsu? Am I, getting carried away? Should I be worried about relegation? Maybe not that based on today's game, but you know what? It's early days. Things can be deceptive. Thank you so much for your support on the series. Glad to see people are enjoying it as much as they are. It was a little bit of a gamble when we started it to manage in Japan, but I don't know if it comes across in the videos. I'm bloody loving it. We will be back on Monday to continue Season 2. I'll see you guys next time. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.